So I've been doing trees the past 3 days, and in doing so, I learned that trees are basically glorified. Well, not glorified; they're slightly fancier linked lists in a way. And of course, you also have I did two algorithms to traverse a tree, which would be breadth first search (BFS) and depth first search, right? And then of course, under depth first search, you also have three specific ones: pre-order, in order, and post order, right? And I think those are just really fancy names for simple sounding algorithms, in theory at least. And well, I've been trying to implement this in C somehow, and it's because I find that it is probably more useful when you try to actively take the theory that you've learned and implement it in whatever language that you prefer. In this case, I'm doing C because I like to suffer, but you could do it in something like Python or Java, I'm pretty sure. I also just realized that it would probably be complete gibberish to someone who is just starting C and then stumbles across a video on trees and has not a damn clue what any of this means, right? And I guess that's sort of my fault because I didn't really think of documenting the initial, I guess, the building blocks of C before you jump into something like the basics or intro to data structures and algorithms, right? Linked lists, double linked lists, trees, things like that. And obviously, you would also need to have prior knowledge of how functions work, pointers, typecasting, how to declare variables, dynamic memory, and of course, you can't forget about the whole headache of working with strings in C, right? Especially if you came from a higher level language such as Python. So, for example, if I had to work with something like strings in Python, it would have been as simple as, well, let's see. Let's say A is a string, and I say, right, and I could do something like, print f, well, not f, print a, and it would work perfectly. Sure, the first variable a looks pretty similar to if I did something like a is equal to my name is Pi-Meson, something like that in Python. But you also have to keep in mind that these are all character arrays and this is just a string because Python is a very high level language and C is much more low level. So you have to deal with headaches such as this.